But this past election day was even worse for the GOP. What's more, they may have a sitting senator, Ted Stevens, who's also a convicted felon serving in Washington, a dubious first for the party. And Sarah Palin recently called for Stevens' resignation, but yesterday she seemed to change her tune a bit.
The Alaskan voters have spoken, and me not being a dictator won't be telling anybody what to do. A governor, especially one that's not going to be a dictator in all this, doesn't have control over that.
Dictating aside, there are a lot of headwinds right now for the Republicans. Can they get their House back in order? We're joined by Jay Boone, a Democratic strategist, and Phil Musser, a Republican strategist. So, okay, Phil, let's start off with you. You're the strategist here.
Hey, Tamara, what a lead-in! Come on, there's got to be some good news here somewhere. We just got another bumping, and you're giving me that, my friend.
That's a softball. You have an open range to hit it out of the park. So you're in your bed and you're dreaming about the Republican Party 4 years from now. How do you come up with your fantasy team looking ahead? Does it include Sarah Palin?
All right. Well, here are a couple important things that your viewers need to know. Okay. First of all, we're going to have a couple of key leadership elections in the Republican Party. We're reorganizing our leadership in the House and Senate. We're going to have a new party leader that we're going to pick in January, and we've got some generationally focused new leaders who have launched an important new website called rebuildtheparty.com, which I'd encourage people to look at. And so there's going to be a lot of debate and discussion about how we can organizationally compete with what Barack Obama put together, and then we need to create the infrastructure and platform and then come up with a new set of messages so that whoever starts to take a look at leadership, and I think it's going to be a lot of these governors out in the states. We've got 36 races for governor in 2010 before we even start to think about 2012. So we got a lot of stuff to chew on here on the Republican Party side.
But does it include Sarah Palin, though, Phil? I mean, you got to get your ground game. We know that. You got to get the internet. But you also have to have someone, at least, a buzz people can believe in. And she certainly energized the base. We saw the crowd show up for her. Is she on your fantasy football political team, the one to pick?
Here's my fantasy football team. Bobby Jindal, Haley Barber, Mark Sanford, Tim Palin, Sarah Palin, Sonny Perdue, John Huntsman out in Utah. There are a host of stars in the Republican Party. I happen to believe that a lot of them reside in the states. Sarah Palin has a big role to play in the future of the Republican Party, no question.
Jay, are you nervous, Jay? Because I mean, listen to this. Phil's lineup, and I won't say they sound like the Dallas Cowboys, my favorite team. They sound far better than the Cowboys.
Cameron, I'm not nervous in the least. I'm not nervous in the least.
Confidence rules today sometimes.
I think that the Democrats are going to continue doing what they've been doing, which is to build it from the bottom up. Continue building on their grassroots efforts and the strategy that Howard Dean, the current chair of the DNC, has put forth. I think we're going to continue to build on our 50-state strategy, and we're going to continue to build on appealing to not only the base of the party, but also the center, swing, and independent voters out there.
Yeah, Phil, let me ask you, is it how much of this is really about also looking at young people? Will the GOP be able to, in the future, get away from this image that it is the party of older, maybe white, rural voters, and that we might see in your party more Sarah Palins, young, passionate women representing the party, or even perhaps Hispanics who at one point in time were attracted to the party, but you lost them this time around?
We did, and the things that Jay talked about and what they've done on the left are a model in a lot of ways for what Republicans need to do now. We need to make the transfer in terms of generational leadership. We need to be talking instead of I. We need to talk about we, meaning we need to be taking advantage of the technology that's available to create a decentralized party structure. Again, this new group that I'm actually part of, called rebuildtheparty.com, is a really interesting one to look at. But all those points, Tamron, are essentially right. I mean, we got thumped, as President Bush said in 06, 70-30 in the under 30 vote, and we lost the Hispanic vote that we had done very well in 2000, 2004. If we don't rectify those two major structural problems, we will be the minority party for a long, long time. The good news is, I think a lot of those younger leaders that I talked about, including Governor Palin, including Governor Jindal, Palin, Sanford, Barber, get that and are committed to making that change. Look for some new leadership ahead and new leadership at the RNC.
Okay, that does it for me. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Phil. I had to get Phil more.